We're the moms who ask the questions, digging deep, no second guessing. From the school run to the crime scene, truth and chaos, we're the dream team. Bad Kids Club, yeah, we ride or die. Sad eyes sharp and our standards high, brought together by FKR. Now we're taking truth real far, and we're just getting started. Talk time with Amy, Boston, and Kelly, spilling facts that hit your belly. Partners in crime, fueled by conviction. Moms on a mission with sharp intuition. Talk time, we're calling out lies with caffeine, chaos, and side-eyed vibes. It's raw, it's real, it's how we vent. Leaning close, let the reckoning commence. This is Talk Time with Amy, Boston, and Kelly, where the tea is hot and the truth cuts.
Hello, everybody. How are you? How are you this Saturday evening? I hope everybody is having a good day. Hey there, Wayne. Hey, Hate. Danny did put it in the chat that there's a fundraiser over on the Mega Box channel. For the Mike Maricini, who is a victim of Laura Owens, who is the one who faked pregnancies that we've talked with Omar about. And that is a fundraiser going on to help him pay for the law defense that he needs to protect himself, because Laura is trying to get another or her restraining order extended that she's had, and she shouldn't be doing it when they're in different states. Two, he did nothing wrong ever, and she lied to get it in the first place. So that's what I think about that. So if you can, if possible, I'm going to put his link in the chat, and it's going to come up under Amy's name, but Amy is not here today. Love her and miss her very much, but she is had some plans that she had to take care of tonight, and so you got me. And if you don't like it, sorry. You know where you can go. How I feel about that. So it comes up under Amy because I put it in through StreamYard, but this is the link to go support Michael Maricini. I have a little bit of more housekeeping for you guys. Well, I'm thankful, Hate. Somebody has to allow it. Just so you guys are aware that my husband had to take a last minute flight to Virginia. He's at his parents' house. So it's just me with the crazy kids. So you're gonna see a little that head behind me. And probably hear Mickey Mouse, and probably hear his helicopter, and Declan will probably try to come over and say hi, because we all know Declan. I saw that, but I didn't know what the lies that were said. I didn't get into that deep. Yay, Liam and Declan. We love them. Now, I know that they didn't deny it completely. She allowed it in part. She denied part of it, and then she denied like the search of the cell phones, but she said that they cannot have his GPS or GPS of his mother or mother-in-law. I don't know all that stuff. It's just crazy. I read some of it, and I've had a really busy weekend or week so far, with Steve having to leave last minute last night. His mom had some health issues, and they are in their 80s. And the last thing I wanted to do was him not be able to see and spend time with his parents, who I adore very much and would be there with if I could. But there was his sister actually took care of his flight and got him up there. So he left right after work yesterday to go see his mom and dad. So another little thing, the news in Winchester. No, sir. My cat is opening the door. Another little tidbit of
Oh, never mind. He's right here. Hi, Bubbles.
Another information thank you, Hate. She's doing okay. She's out of the hospital. She was in the hospital, but she's had a couple strokes. Oh, okay. Perfect, Wayne. I'll have to look into it and look further into it. We talk about it on Monday or this week because this week has been so busy. We had so many sentencings. Oh my gosh, you guys. Like, we had Stephen Stern's sentencing. We had BK's sentencing. He doesn't get the blessing of being called his name. The killer of Maddie, Xana, Ethan, and Kaylee. We had his sentencing. We had Lori Vallow's sentencing. And I don't know if you guys caught, but that last five seconds when the judge released the court, and it was actually Tammy Daybell's aunt who stood up and said, "Rotten hell, Lori." And she turned around and winked at her. That takes some guts that I don't understand. I give Tammy Daybell's, I give her aunt some props, but for her to turn around and wink at her, like, what, bitch? What? Who? No, it doesn't work like that. Not around here, we don't. And so I also wanted to go over with you guys and let you know that my friend Lauren, that Omar was on, we were talking about last Saturday, she was the one that got served the subpoena. She does. She so thinks she's a queen, and she is nothing. My friend Lauren Nighty, who Omar was on last week with us talking and Bruce about, she got served with a subpoena from Blake Lively's team, saying that they were part of a smear campaign for Justin Baldini. She filed her motion quash yesterday, which, by the way, was great. And I love her sass, and I just love Lauren so much. Her sass and everything like that. But she was notified this afternoon by Blake Lively's lawyers that they are withdrawing their subpoena. They will no longer be coming after her for her data. I think they're waiting for people to lay down and just not do anything about it, and that way they can get information that they want. But they don't need. What does their information help them with? Nothing. It really helps them with nothing. So Lauren is a blast. She's so funny, and I love that she is just unapologetically herself. They are actually right now having a fundraiser for Michael Maricini over on Megan Fox's channel, like I said a minute ago. And there are, Reality Steve, Dave Neal, you got Brad, which is IT Goatee, you got Snitchel Ninja, you have Lauren, you have Megan, you have Bruce from Oregon, and who else is on there? Oh, Rachel Juarez just jumped on there, and they're doing a huge fundraiser for Michael Maricini. So he gets a tablet for internet and cable TV in a cell. Yeah, but you also have to realize, if you think of it this way, hello, my backseat Amy. What's up, baby girl? I haven't seen you in a while. I think I saw you last week for a little bit, but oh my gosh, Shooter, you're eating and then gonna scratch your. Well, at least somebody has to. Like, at least I'm glad. As long as you're hanging out, having fun with us, we're cool. I don't have to watch it, so we're good. Miss you so much. I do. I miss you so much. Hey, he has the fan club that he is building right now is ridiculous, and I don't understand why people are giving him the attention. He does not deserve it. I watched the interview with Brian Enton and his Olivia after the sentencing, the day after the sentencing, and how she felt about going up there and saying what she did and what it felt like to look into its eyes. And she said there was literally, look at this. Look at this. You guys see this? What? He's coming after me to be. I swear my animals think they're parrots. What's going on over here? So But I watched that interview with Olivia after her impact statement and how she felt about that and how the family's feeling. There are some things, that were released in the this is what you guys are hearing right now. This is what you're watching. You're watching this one spinning in circles with his helicopter. That's what he's doing. That's why it's so loud. So I do apologize if it's loud, but we're gonna go over today. Oh, you guys, look what I got on. I got on my representing Canton. What? CF McCarthy's. Got my CF McCarthy shirt on because I want justice for John O'Keefe and I don't want anything to do with McAlberts. So yeah, Wade Wilson. Oh, I can't even stand Wade Wilson. Don't get me started. But we're gonna go over today. Hello, there's a dog. Hello. What? Ah! You guys. Jay, hi, baby. I have a parrot on my shoulder, apparently. These animals are crazy. I can't. He like licked my ear. Ugh. Ugh. Liam, can you turn that off, please? You want to say hi?
Hi.
Say hi.
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 There you guys. A custom potato masher. You know what? We had one. We had we went to St. Jude, and St. Jude has a whole second floor. It's called the Family Commons. And what they have there is art, like different art studios, different things for the kids. They have like these little rooms that you can go in and take a nap with your kid. Your kids can take a nap and it's quiet. They have a salon. They have a massage parlor. They have all kinds of stuff up there for free, and it's all for free. You just have to make appointments to go do it. And I went and asked them. In the art department, they have a printer, a 3D printer, and we try to find a masher close to it of what they normally would do or what he normally has, and he has it. He don't like it, but we have it as a spare, so we'll see what happens. So that's the first time Liam, I think, has really come on camera with you guys, huh? Yeah. Pretty sure it's the first time. So tonight we're gonna go over Aaron Spencer. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Aaron Spencer. Aaron Spencer is the dad that deserves a medal. He deserves. He does not deserve to be where he's at. What's going on with it right now? That he does deserve a medal. So I'm going to. No, animals, stop it! They're going to drive me crazy. We're going to share this. Dog Mom's here. What's up, baby girl? What is going on with you? I was thinking, watch the video on the Great Molasses Flood in North End. Liam sees Declan being here. Yeah, for sure. He does. He does. He does. He needs to be free. I think this case just he deserves a medal, and I can't believe that they're even trying to charge him, honestly. So we're gonna watch some of this, and I will stop. We'll talk about it a little bit later.
A man claims he found his missing teenage daughter in a car with a 67-year-old man, an alleged stalker. And now this father is accused of killing that man, and he could be facing criminal charges. I'm going to talk with renowned predator catcher Chris Hansen to get to the bottom of this story. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. Jesse Weber. This was a wild series of events that played out very quickly in the middle of the night in Arkansas last week. So we have 36-year-old Aaron Spencer, who reportedly called 911. to say that his 14-year-old daughter was missing. And while his wife searched the area around the home,
I do want to tell you guys that this did not happen last week. This video is from, I believe, a year ago. It happened last, let's see, or 9 months ago, about 9 months ago, almost a year ago. So just so you know, it wasn't last week. This already happened. So let me go further on. We'll come back.
Spencer hopped into his truck, started driving around looking for her. And that is when Spencer apparently spotted 67-year-old Michael Fossler with his teenage daughter in a car. And according to Spencer's wife, Heather, he started chasing the car that Fossler was driving. There was some sort of accident. After the crash, there was apparently some kind of confrontation between the two men, and Spencer allegedly shot Fossler, killing him. Well, when Lono County Sheriff's deputies arrived, they took Spencer into custody on suspicion of murder. His family was able to get enough money together for a $150,000 bail. There's a lot of different moving parts in this, including Fossler's history. So I want to bring in right now renowned predator catcher, founder of True Blue, the host of Takedown on True Blue, the host of Predators I've Caught with Chris Hansen. Who am I going to bring in? I think you guessed it, Chris Hansen, to talk more about this. Chris, good to see you.
What a wild case, Jesse.
I was going to ask you, in your experience, have you seen this kind of vigilante justice?
Apparently the guy was
We see that To Catch a Predator, Chris Hansen's on there, so you know it's going to get good. This man is not vigilante justice to me. Vigilante justice is going after somebody in revenge of what they did. This is a man that saw his daughter was missing in the middle of the night, had his wife call 911, was driving around the town, and found her with the man who already has charges against him in regards to what he has done to his daughter. That's not vigilante justice. He literally pulled her out of the car. His 13-year-old daughter. That's vigilante justice would be going after revenge to say, you did this and you've been charged with it, and now I'm going after you. This is not vigilante justice. If he didn't find her, exactly, Dog Mom, if he did not find her, we could be having a whole total different discussion right now. So, yeah, I that's the only part of this whole thing that bothered me, is they're talking about it being vigilante justice. She was not technically groomed, but he does have multiple charges of sexual molestation, things like that against her. We're going to learn more about those charges that he has. And he was told that he's not supposed to have any contact with the family at all. So, we'll go further into it.
was already warned in some method or fashion. And so they get onto this, the father does, and he finds the girl in this guy's car. Imagine the outrage. Now, you know, that doesn't mean it's okay to kill somebody because of this, but you have to take this into consideration. So I would have to believe that while there are charges here, and while it may be a question of fact for a judge or jury, jury's going to be pretty sympathetic to a fellow who's in this position.
I also, I'm going to make the argument, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, if you can even get a fair and impartial.
Amy, yes, it's prior to killing him. He was not supposed to be contacting the family at all. And after this, I have another video that kind of goes into more detail of the times and the things like that. So, this video to me is just a quick, update of what's happening. So,
Partial jury in a case like this, but your experience in your career, you've seen parents who have taken.
Oh, I've seen. Yeah, it's happened.
Violent with people like this.
It's happened. It's rare.
Yeah.
Most people let the criminal justice system do its job. But I just finished a sting operation in Florida with the Polk County Sheriff's deputies down there, and detectives, Grady Judd, the sheriff down there.
Grady
And in a
Everybody-
matter of days, we caught a lifeguard from a Disney resort. I mean, here's a guy who's looking at children all day, and he shows up at our sting house to meet up and have a sexual liaison with a 14-year-old girl because he says his fiance wasn't paying enough attention to him. We had another guy who was in the Orlando area on business as a videographer there for a convention from Minnesota. He lies about his name. He jerks the detectives around. He lies to me during my interview with him. And it turns out all the time, all the while we're talking to him, he is out on bail after being arrested for virtually the same crime in Minnesota. So he's out on bail for trying to have sex with a boy in Minnesota. And what does he do? He goes off on business to Florida, and he gets right online and tries to set up another sexual liaison with another 14-year-old boy in Florida.
It's pretty disgusting. And I would say, oh my gosh, shocking, but really not shocking since we cover this so much. Going back to this situation, though. So Spencer's arrest, as you can imagine, it has caused a lot of outrage in the local community and online. So Heather set up a Give, Send, Go fundraising page, which has raised, our understanding, more than $100,000 to go toward Aaron Spencer's legal defense. I believe this was after an issue with GoFundMe because you're not allowed to raise money for a legal defense on that platform. So she's accepting donations through Venmo and Cash App. But a lot of people are outraged at what happened here. And a couple days after the shooting, the sheriff took to Facebook to kind of try to quell the growing unrest.
As your sheriff, it is our duty to conduct a thorough and factual investigation. Law enforcement does not file charges. We gather evidence and submit a case to the prosecutor, who will then decide whether or not to file charges. Currently, official charges have not been filed. I have not, nor will I, advocate for any specific charge.
Now, as of Monday night, it doesn't appear that the district attorney's office has filed official charges. This was more a preliminary murder charge, so there's not an official charge yet. But we are learning more about Mr. Spencer and Mr. Fossler's backgrounds. So we started by looking up the suspected shooter, Aaron Spencer, and we actually looked him up on Truth Finder. It's really easy to do. You just put in the person's name, location, less than a minute. Our paid subscription gave us access to all of these court records. And all we were really able to find with respect to his criminal history was a speeding citation in 2010. By the way, Law and Crime, we partner with Truth Finder. We use it to get details on the people that are involved in our stories. But even if you don't work in true crime, it can just be an excellent resource to give you some peace of mind. It's one of the largest public record search services in the United States. And with a paid subscription service, you can get access to unlimited reports about almost anyone. And by the way, right, go to truthfinder.com/LC sidebar. So what about Michael Fossler? Well, according to a post from Heather on the fundraising page, her daughter's interactions with Fossler actually started earlier this year. She wrote, in spring, summer 2024, our then 13-year-old child was targeted, groomed, and ultimately raped by the boyfriend of a family friend. Our family did not know this monster. He just appeared in a place where our child should have been safe and got access to her phone number. And that's all it took. We let the justice system do its job. The monster who hurt our child was charged quickly, but released even faster on a $50K bond. He was awaiting court in December for several felonies in relation to what he did to our child. Now, those charges appeared to include internet stalking of a child and sexual assault, but the exact details weren't available because the criminal complaint has been sealed for privacy. But Chris, that kind of gives us an idea of what we're dealing with here.
Well, yeah, obviously this guy was caught. The damage was done to this child, the grooming and the exploitation. And he doesn't learn his lesson, just like the guys I described in our most recent sting. This guy will not stop until he is put in prison. And so that's all going to come into play when the prosecutor considers the charges against the father of the victim here.
So you're fine, shooter. Don't worry about that. This it was the spring or summer of 2024. So he was arrested on charges against their daughter. They let him out on $50,000 bail, and he was awaiting his trial in December. So this happened prior to the trial. Aww. You're very welcome. You guys get me through a lot. You have no idea. A lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes, and my family here makes it easier for me. So even if I don't care how many people are, it's me and two other people, it's fine. I don't care. I like hanging out with you guys. So
And I can't imagine that he'll see a day in prison.
The idea, though, that he goes after the person that he's accused of first targeting, not even going out and trying to attack someone, but going after the initial person. That's the part, and that's why people are outraged that he was out on bail too.
He's a stone cold predator. I mean, what else can you say about a guy like this? Somebody like that is incorrigible. Somebody like that doesn't learn a lesson. Somebody like that can't be deterred. If you get arrested and you're out on bail pending criminal charges of this type, and you go back, these people in some cases are like heroin addicts.
Yeah.
They need to fulfill this fantasy. The heroin addict knows there's a 20% chance there's fentanyl in the heroin, they do it anyway. The predator knows there's a 20% chance they're going to get caught by me, by one of the law enforcement agencies around the country, but they do it anyway. They can't control it. And for that subset of people who commit this crime, there's no choice but to keep them locked up because they will offend again and again.
Now, to be clear, from a legal point of view, right, these are allegations that are being asserted. These are allegations being asserted by the Spencer family. But just to go back to this, according to Heather Spencer, she and her husband, they wake up at around 1 a.m. on October 8th to the sound of their daughter's dog barking, which they say was unusual. And when she wasn't in her bed, they started a frantic search. The two reportedly didn't know that Fossler had apparently been in contact with their teenage daughter. But Heather said that on social media, they believed Fossler had taken the girl to kill her. So when this car wreck happened, Spencer says he was able to grab his daughter from the car. Fossler attacked him, so he shot him. So kind of a self-defense argument. Now, the sheriff has said that they investigate every death involving a shooting like this as a homicide, and whether or not they believe that homicide was justifiable or not, that would have to be determined as the investigation progressed. But Chris, here's the thing. You put the legal aspects to the side. Whether this was self-defense or perhaps even downgraded to something like voluntary manslaughter. You're acting in the heat of the moment. You're acting under extreme emotional disturbance. Guy sees his daughter allegedly being kidnapped, and he's coming to the rescue. You can understand that. You put aside the legal aspect. I don't understand from a point of view, from a public policy point of view, how they charge him. I get it.
Yeah,
you don't want anybody taking justice into their own hands, but
yeah, especially given the fact that there is this belief that maybe he was going to kill the girl. And maybe in his twisted mind, without that witness, he doesn't face prison on the charges. We don't know. And we also don't know what was going through the father's head, but I can predict without fear of contradiction that the father was afraid. And if you're looking at your daughter in the hands of a predator, again, I don't see how this guy gets charged.
I would do the same exact thing if I had my child. I'm just saying it. I will put it out there. I don't care what people knows. I would do the same exact thing because I love my child and I'm going to take care of my child. If my child is in danger or is in the threat of danger for any reason whatsoever, whether it is being groomed, whether it is being molested, whether it is being killed, I am going to jump in.
No way.
He essentially kidnapped his daughter and he found her in the truck in the same evening that I will be going in. There would be no changing my mind. And I don't believe he should be charged either. And I don't think a lot of people I don't believe they're gonna find a jury that's going to convict him.
Let's say he does.
Yeah.
Let's say this is a murder charge. You're finding a fair and impartial jury, given the community outrage here.
I don't see a prosecutor in a smaller town like this who knows everybody, who knows, all the players in this. I just can't imagine that this man will ultimately go to trial for any sort of homicide.
Now, to be clear, look, I've covered cases before, different kinds of
It's
abuse.
possible, and we've all seen, exceptions to that common sense. Thinking.
Because murder's not the answer. I mean, look at Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Clear case, she was abused. Menendez brothers, you can make the argument that they were abused. They're going back and forth about whether it was a self-defense argument. But the point is we're not just saying murder is a justification. But here's what's interesting. The sheriff told USA Today last week, this guy that preyed upon their daughter was released on bond, and we had stopped him that night and got him with her. That bond would have been revoked. He would have never got out of jail. None of the bond companies would have let him out. We wouldn't let him out. A lot of things there. So he's seemingly acknowledging Foster was a predator and a danger. Let's start
yeah.
there.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe what he's arguing is that the father should have called the sheriff's department, called 911, and let them handle it as opposed to take matters into his own hands. That's a good argument. And then he would have been arrested and never let out on bond again until and after he faced criminal charges in court.
You're in the heat of the moment.
That's a reason why maybe you detain somebody and you investigate the case, and maybe there is some sort of charge filed, then it becomes a question of fact for a judge or jury. But in the heat of the moment, does any parent?
I feel like Chris Hansen is just like in my brain. I feel like everything that I say, he says right afterwards. No jury is going to find him guilty. They're not going to find a fair and impartial jury for this. They're not going to be able to do any of that. And if you're in the heat of the moment and you see your child in danger, you're jumping to save them. So,
wait.
I don't even get it.
Until the police get there?
No.
You call 911 and then give chase? Do you just do it because you act out of instinct? Those are hard questions to answer. And it's hard to really point a guilty finger at this dad for doing what he did based upon what we know so far.
And it's different than, and the allegations don't support, the facts don't support this. If he had went to the car, immediately opened fire, if there was a struggle and he was trying to get his daughter back.
It would be different if this was a case where we have seen in the past where the guy somehow sneaks a gun into the courtroom and sees him and says, you so-and-so, bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
Or if he gets him being walked into the courthouse, or he goes to his home and kicks the door in and takes vengeance that way. But this is a case where the man who was facing criminal prosecution for grooming and sexually exploiting his teenage daughter has custody of that child. I mean, I don't know. I might come unglued myself for something like that.
And just to add to this, so Heather on this post on the fundraising page wrote, "My husband is a combat veteran who has always protected his country and family. I have no doubt our child would have not come home if my husband hadn't found her." So it's a tragic case, but a complicated case and a really sad case. Again, I don't understand how you would be able to get a jury that would be fair and impartial, that wouldn't look at this and say, I can't find this guy.
Yeah, which is exactly why you have to wonder if it's even going to get prosecuted.
Yeah.
I mean, and you also have to ask the question, what are the additional charges that this guy is going to face, the predator? I mean, this obviously adds on to his he's dead.
He's dead. Yeah.
So, so it doesn't matter now. But I mean, clearly, had he not been killed, he would have been facing a lot more time in prison.
They said they wouldn't have let him out. So look, it's a really tragic circumstance. I will say this. I can understand if they decide to charge him with either manslaughter or murder. I mean, a life was taken. I get it. But at the same time, trying to secure a conviction there, I think is going to be really, really tough.
I don't think it happens. Yeah.
Chris, so good to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Jesse.
Let everybody know where they can watch you, see you, catch predators like we talked about.
We have our own streaming crime network, True Blue, TRUBLU. Watch.
All right. So that would be our Chris Hansen. Hello, my Danny. How are you? I know you're going to see this shortly. Yes, my puppy is co-hosting with me tonight. He was on my shoulders a little bit ago for some reason. Blue Eyes. Hi, baby. Miss you. No, I'm so upset about the whole thing. I'm so upset. Us Gen X kids are not okay. Okay, I'm not okay. I'm not okay. We lost Theo Huxtable, we lost Hulk, and we lost Ozzy all in like 3 days. I'm not okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share this one now. This is... I know, it's so sad. I don't like it. I don't like the people that are part of our generation are dying and passing away. Like, they're not supposed to be, we're not supposed to lose them, okay? At all. It's making me crazy. All right, so I'm gonna play this one for you guys. I hope if I put it on there like I'm supposed to. There we go. Forgot how to work it.
Helicopter. So.
Did you guys see Ozzy's last performance that he did a couple months ago? He had to do it out of his chair. They said he stopped his pain medication just so he could do the performance. Oh my God! Don't. You're trying to take me out already. Yeah. They said that Bruce Willis can't even talk right now. It's so bad. And then I heard that I haven't looked at it, but I heard that Phil Collins is really ill and possibly on hospice. And if that's the case, I can't. No, I can't. Don't take Phil Collins from me. Don't take Phil Collins from me. So, but all right, so we're gonna start this. Yeah. This one's gonna give us a little more information.
Greetings, folks, and welcome to Bazdane Productions headquarters, home of Carnage on Ice. And in this video, we're going to take a deep dive into a case in Arkansas again. What a coincidence, and they've only just begun. Now, you may remember this case from a few months ago in October 2024, as it was all over the news.
From the station that's on your side, this is Channel 7 News at 6.
Well, good evening to you. We begin our newscast in Lono County tonight with new information in the case of a father who allegedly killed a man he found with his missing 14-year-old daughter.
36-year-old Aaron Spencer was arrested on a preliminary charge of first-degree murder in the death of 67-year-old Michael Fossler. The Lono County Sheriff says Fossler was out on bond at the time of the confrontation after being arrested over the summer for internet stalking of a child and sexual assault. Channel 7's Daniela DeHogany has the story.
So this story was in media outlets all across the country last October, as well as in other countries. But I did notice that there was a bunch of media that didn't cover it at all. That's pretty interesting. Maybe there's a reason. And maybe we'll find out why. Jesse Weber and Chris Hansen covered it on an episode of Law and Crime Sidebar. So let's have a look at a few clips and we'll see what they have to say and learn a bit more about this case.
This was a wild series of events that played out very quickly in the middle of the night in Arkansas last week. So I want to bring in right now, renowned predator catcher, am I going to bring it here? It's easy to do. She would have been safe to grab his daughter. I have no.
Is the analysis as simple as a case where
CNN Hero covered it on News Nation.
Is the analysis, even in a case where, man, did the system mess up by letting this guy out? Is the analysis as simple as in the state, if it's not stand your ground, was it reasonable for him to use deadly force in defense of his own life or the defense of his child's life? Is that the end of the analysis for this guy, his dad, Matt?
Ultimately, that is the end. That's the call that a jury, if they charge him with anything here, Chris, that will be the decision they have to make. And it might be they shouldn't arrest him for first-degree murder. The sheriff's right. The prosecutor decides what's a charge. This is a voluntary manslaughter at its absolute most. And this is really the analysis here is he defending his daughter? Is he defending his wife his daughter from death or great bodily injury? I think a lot of jurors here are going to say yes.
Misty?
Even a brilliant prosecutor could not get a conviction in this case. We're talking about a confrontation that happens while his minor daughter is in the car. Someone who's been accused of a rape is in violation of a no contact order. That's what really matters, what happened in that time frame. And I don't think we see charges here. And if we do, I think a jury is going to acquit.
Just quickly, help me understand this. So he wasn't really charged. That's why the sheriff backed away from it. They arrested on probable cause. Now they'll figure out they're going to dump it on the prosecutor. We'll see what happens. But I'm going to follow this one because I don't know how they let this guy out. What did they think was going to happen? Misty Maris, Matt Murphy, thank you for the quick take on this. We'll have the conversation again. Dan Abrams.
Thanks, Chris. And we'll pay a visit to Chris again in a bit. But right now, let's dive a little deeper into the story to try and get a better understanding of what happened. And we can learn more from the statements on the Give, Send, Go donation site set up by Heather Spencer, who is Spencer's wife. And this, I believe, was set up after their GoFundMe page was removed because apparently it's the GoFundMe site's policy not to allow donations for legal defenses. Anyways, this page has the same statements as what was on the GoFundMe page, and I'll link this page's URL below. I'd also just like to point out that in the United States, looking at Arkansas in particular, that cases like this can cost upwards of $100,000 or more when all is said and done. And while the Spencer family has been flooded with donations and support from the public at large, they're of course not out of the woods yet, not by a long shot. In the statement, we can see some of the quotes that we saw in the Law and Crime Sidebar video. And let's have a look at a few more. In the early morning hours on Tuesday, October 8th, 2024, we awoke to our daughter's dog barking. This is unusual and caused us to check on her. In that moment, we lived every parent's biggest fear as we realized our teen child was missing. We frantically searched our home and property and started calling friends, family, and 911. My husband immediately got into his truck to go blindly searching for our child. By God's never-failing grace, my husband passed this man driving on our road with our minor child in the vehicle. As soon as the predator knew my husband was behind him, he ran. The chase ended in an accident. Aaron was able to retrieve our child alive, but in the process, he was attacked and did what he had to do to protect himself and our minor child. He's now facing an outrageous murder 1 charge. Now, looking in the news, USA Today printed a pretty decent article on the case where we can learn a little bit more. And this was first published on October 11th, 2024, so 3 days after the events in question, and then updated on October 14th, 2024, so 6 days after Aaron's case began. The shooting happened in Lonoke County, about 75 miles northeast of Hot Springs. The girl is 14 years old and the man who was shot is in his 60s, Lonoke County Sheriff John Staley confirmed. And the pedo predator involved here is Michael Fossler, who was 67 years old. And we can see that the 36-year-old father, Aaron Spencer, was released at 1:12 p.m. the following day, which would be October 9th. A woman identifying herself as the girl's mother shared a series of updates on Facebook after the incident. In her post, she said the family had a no-contact order in place for Fossler due to stalking. The man who was shot, Fossler, had been arrested by another agency in July and booked for internet stalking of a child and sexual assault, Sheriff Staley said. And actually, there's a few things not mentioned here. And one is that it was Sheriff John Staley's department that got the first call to arrest Fossler back in July.
Took a report of an inappropriate relationship, possible sexual misconduct, and we realized that was Cabot jurisdiction. We reported that to Cabot detectives. Cabot worked that case. He was subsequently arrested back in July, placed into the Lonoke County Detention Center. The initial charges was rape and internet stalking, and I believe other charges were added, such as child pornography.
Now, something else they're not saying here, and either USA Today doesn't know, or they don't want to talk about it, is that when Mike Fossler was arrested earlier in the year, it was for assaulting the very same 14-year-old daughter of the Spencers. Heather Spencer said her family thought Fossler had taken their daughter to kill her. We absolutely called 911 during the entire event, she wrote. We had no idea this man was in contact with her child again. He was waiting 6 to 9 felonies for what he did, not 2. He was looking at the rest of his pathetic life in jail, and our daughter was the only witness. So as USA Today is only taking quotes from Facebook posts, perhaps they just haven't put 2 and 2 together to realize that this is the second time that Fossler has attacked the Spencer's daughter. Here, Sheriff John Staley is trying to look sympathetic, as well as saying that he's just trying to do the right thing, as he's come under a bunch of fire from the public in general, and of course the Spencer family. The murder charge against the shooter and girl's father is a preliminary charge, but it's not official, Staley said. Here they explain about the removal of the GoFundMe page. In more posts from Heather we see, we have gotten a clear picture of a predator who continuously worked with children and preyed on young girls, a woman wrote. This man was chief of police in Indiana and resource officer, giving us a better idea of why the Lonoke County courts have been protecting him and going after my husband. Now here's something I find interesting. A lawsuit was filed in August in federal court accusing Sheriff Staley and his former jail administrator, Deputy William Shipp, of ignoring female inmates who alleged sexual abuse by jail staff. And something to understand is that the Lonoke County Sheriff's Office and the Lonoke County Jail, or Detention Center, are one and the same, with the boss of both being Sheriff John Staley. And about that lawsuit, Sheriff John Staley would say this. I'm not familiar with the lawsuit, but I am familiar with the situation with the employees, Staley told the Northwest Arkansas Democrat Gazette. The allegations were investigated as soon as they were brought to our attention. They were held accountable, 3 were terminated, and 2 were charged and prosecuted. So in the recent past, 5 Lonoke County Sheriff deputies and jail staff have been either fired or prosecuted while on Sheriff John Staley's watch. Remember, they're all his employees. We're going to get this wrapped up as expeditiously as we can and get the file faxed and over to the prosecutor so he can make an informed decision, Staley said. And the Lonoke County prosecutor is Charles Graham Jr., who we'll be seeing more of coming up. But right now, let's have a look at Aaron Spencer, the father charged with murder. Aaron and Heather would meet in 2005 and began dating. In 2006, Aaron would join the U.S. Army. And by 2007, he would find himself in the 82nd Airborne and was deployed to Iraq for the next year plus. Listed here are some of the operations that the 82nd Airborne undertook in 2007. Not listed are some of the covert operations, operations involving U.S. Special Forces or Navy SEALs, where units of the 82nd Airborne would be dropped in with them to secure the perimeter, while the SEAL team or the Special Forces achieves their objective.
My blue, I'm not starting trouble. I promise. I promise. I was saying that Jay was egging it on. I got you back, boo. I got you back. I know who my troublemakers are. I know who likes to cause trouble. See this one right here. It's Saturday night. She likes to cause some type of shit. Jay's with her. Somebody got to do it, right? He's been known to fan some flames a little bit, maybe some. But that's good. We need to have fun. Let's do it. Let's have fun. I do have to say, I do miss the chat in the bushes for some reason, because they were in the bushes for a while. So we love you too. We missed you. All love. Everybody love. Love for everybody. Jay is a flamer. Oh my gosh. All right. So what we've got so far is that it's kind of going back in history of what's happening. You're back to stay. Yay! Woo! That makes me so happy. Liam's happy. You hear that? Liam's even happy. We love it when you're here. So it's in the Airborne Division, 82nd Airborne Division, and it looks like he was what did it say? A Silver Star recipient, and he seems to be all around good. I mean, good boy in joining the military, protecting his country, and doing everything he needed to do. Got married, and they had a kid, and then this happened. So I don't believe this is vigilante justice. So I don't personally.
Also in 2007, Aaron and Heather would get married. And before long, the happy couple would turn into a happy family, with the arrival of the couple's son first, followed a few years later by their daughter. Over the years, they moved around a bit, with stops including Connecticut and Arkansas, before finally settling in Florida in 2018. In 2022, after soaking up the Florida sunshine for 4 years, news and growing concern over the health of her father, William, who was living back in Arkansas, began taking its toll on Heather and consuming her, which quickly led her to come to the decision that she had to be with her father on a permanent basis to help him in his time of need. So without any hesitation or second thoughts, Aaron packed up the family and the household, and the family made one more move, back to Arkansas. And the family household would happily grow to 5 in number now. And the kids were more than happy, as they would get to be spoiled by Grandpa on a regular basis again. Now back in Arkansas, they lived in a fair-sized house that was on a fair-sized piece of land, which was needed, as Aaron is also a farmer. A poultry farmer, I guess it's called. He raises turkeys, geese, ducks, quail, and other exotic birds, by the hundreds. It wouldn't surprise me if he had a few ostriches in there too. And as you can see, he also has other animals like donkeys and sheep. And as we also know, the family had dogs, which they love very much.
So that kind of makes me laugh because love you, dog mom. I love you so much. I hope you have a good night. I miss you. My dad's cousin in Missouri had an air-conditioned turkey farm. Yes, you heard me right. It is an air-conditioned turkey farm. He raised turkey. They had air conditioning in their huge building, but in the farmhouse, there was no AC. So tell me how that works. But I remember going to visit them and thinking to myself, an air conditioning turkey farm, like who does that? So seems to me like this guy was one of those farmers. I don't know if he had air conditioning, but you know.
And I'll bet even more now. I'll take a guess that it was one of these dogs that started barking at 1 in the morning that alerted and awakened the Spencers, allowing them to discover that their daughter was missing. Extra cookies for that boy. And we can see Aaron's caring nature for animals in a couple of his Facebook posts. In 2018, he found a husky running around on the highway. So Aaron, being who he is, took the time to pull over and rescue the dog, and then make an effort to find its owners. How many cars do you think probably drove past that puppy until Aaron came along and rescued it before it got hit by a car? And that's kind of fitting, isn't it? In 2018, Aaron rescues a dog from traffic, and 6 years later, it's a dog's barking that awakens and alerts Aaron to the fact that his daughter is missing at 1 a.m, thus allowing Aaron to rescue her. There's some karma for you. I also came across this other Facebook post of his that had this Jurassic Park looking bird. And I gotta say, that's pretty cool looking. And I also noticed Aaron's attitude.
Who wants to tell him? Anybody? Do you want to tell him that that's not a Jurassic looking bird?
Me, I'll talk.
You want to tell him? What is it? What kind of bird is that?
A Jurassic Park.
No, it's not a Jurassic Park bird. It's a turkey.
It's a pterodactyl.
It's not a pterodactyl. He said it's a pterodactyl, not a pterodactyl, apparently. It's a turkey. You're a turkey. And just so you guys know, I had to mute it because my son called my name, and thank God I did, because he did very nasty stuff when I said it. And I'm like, why do I have to be a mom of boys? I'll just tell you, Declan is the one who goes to our neighbor's house and teaches the other kids that Alexa will fart. So, kind of, nope, don't do it. It's ridiculous. But
When he says that he is, quote, truly blessed to raise them. Anyways, also remember what we saw in those clips of Sidebar with Jesse Weber.
So we started by looking up the suspected shooter, Aaron Spencer, and we actually looked him up on Truth Finder. It's really easy to do. You just put in the person's name, location, less than a minute. Our paid subscription gave us access to all of these court records. And all we were really able to find with respect to his criminal history.
Hero. Now let's have a look at the opposite end of the spectrum and meet Mike Fossler. And we can see on this Twitter, or X post, that Fossler had a no contact order for stalking and raping the teen earlier this year, with the teen being the Spencer's daughter. And he was supposed to be going to court for it all in December of 2024.
Yes. So, Tommy, this is the story of Aaron Spencer out of Arkansas. He was the one that was, let me back up a little bit. This is Aaron Spencer. He is.
I mean, it takes some guts to jump out of a perfectly good airplane. Over and over again, too. He's a loving husband. He's a loving father. He's very much a family man. And he's also a farmer. So, of course, he loves animals. He has no criminal records. And he's loved, admired, or respected by everybody who knows him. He rescued his 14-year-old daughter from the clutches of a 67-year-old predator.
Okay, so that last one, this is what the story is about. Declan is ridiculous, by the way. It is about, they woke up in the middle of the night to the dog barking, and they went to see what was going on, and he went to his daughter's room and realized that his 14-year-old daughter was not in her bed. And so he had his wife, after they looked around the house, call 911. Hey, Noodles. He jumped into the truck and he drove around town and happened to find the guy driving and saw his daughter in the truck, made him pull over, or actually, I believe he hit his truck and pushed it off to the side of the road because they were going slow. He wouldn't pull over. And he tried to get him out of the car, and the guy was like, no. And the girl tried to jump out the other side. The guy grabbed the girl, and he yanked him out further, and I guess he shot him. And he is no longer among us. But this man that he had his daughter had a no contact order against his daughter, or not, she had a no contact order against him. He was not allowed to speak to them. He had groomed, he had raped, and molested their 14-year-old daughter a year prior. So it happened in spring and summer of 2024. He had got out on a $50,000 bail. And then once he was released, right after, because he literally went to jail, but he was let out just as fast as he was put in jail. He was bailed out. And then while he was waiting for his trial to start in December, he kidnapped his daughter. And we don't know what could have happened if he wouldn't have found his daughter in that truck while driving down the road. She was the only witness to the crimes that he had committed, and there was over 60 crimes, or 50. Was there, how many crimes were there? Was it 50 something? I don't know, Tommy, Jay said, or I think it was Wayne said it earlier. He had, I mean, a guy's 67 years old and he already has he's already with the 43 counts. That's right. 67 and 43 counts, like, just from the prior incident. And yeah, look at my shooter. He's so smart. Look at Jill. So he was waiting for he was waiting for trial of the crimes already committed against this guy's daughter. She went missing. He went looking around town while her wife called 911 and found them. And he ripped this guy out of the car and he killed him. And he saved his daughter. And guess what? I would have done the same thing. This man does not deserve to be put in jail or tried or charged for manslaughter. He does not deserve to be put in jail, tried for murder. Nothing. He deserves a fucking medal. Excuse my language. He deserves a medal. What he did is what any loving mother, father would do to protect their child. Do things in the heat of the moment. It's not vigilante justice. Vigilante justice is going to is if he would have gone to this guy's house after they found his daughter and then did it and already had his daughter at home. That's a vigilante. This is not vigilante justice. This is, you have my daughter in your car. I'm not going to allow you to do whatever you want to do with her because we don't know what's going to happen and she may never come back. And so he took care of it. And I'm sorry, what person, I agree, Danny, the vein of self-defense, what parent in their right mind would say, oh, you know what, just stay here, let me call the police? Because I can tell you, in my own experience, it can take 10 to 15 minutes for the police to show up. Even in an emergency. So, no. See, you would have done the same thing exactly. I don't know how many shots, and I really don't care. I think you should just. I would have unloaded it myself. So, I don't know. We'll find out more. Shooter, I don't know for sure. Right? Exactly. And now this man has been charged and is going to be going to have a trial. But I don't know if they're going to keep it. I believe right now he's charged with murder charges. I have to look it up, make sure. But if anything, that they should plea out to. They should brought that down to voluntary manslaughter, like Jesse was saying from Law and Crime, because for one, if it's right, look at Noodles, we are, right there, boop, 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 boop. And we all know that there is not one parent that loves their children that will sit on a jury and convict this man, because I wouldn't. I'd say not guilty in a heartbeat. I'd let him walk and I'd hand him a fucking medal as I did it. So you hear my bird. My bird's singing to you guys, by the way. Declan. So Declan's singing to the bird. Then the bird sings the song back to Declan. So this is our nightly thing.
So it would seem that when it comes to Aaron Spencer, all of this can really be combined and summarized into one word: hero.
Oh my gosh.
Now let's have a look at the opposite end of the spectrum and meet Mike Fossler.
Zach, did you come here so I can objectify you? Because I've missed you. I'm stamping my foot about this. This is angry. This makes me angry. You've heard about this case, right? I agree, Noodles. You're right. Coco, what? He is a hero. No, you're blushing. I've missed you, Zach. I've missed you. We've talked about you in summer school this last week. You're not anywhere around for summer school. Just saying, you're missing a lot of learning. Welcome to Walmart. Okay, so now we're going to learn about the deceased, the piece of shit, the man who deserves what he got.
And we can see on this Twitter, her ex post, that Foster had a no contact order for stalking and raping the teen earlier this year, with the teen being the Spencer's daughter. And he was supposed to be going to court for it all in December of 2024.
No.
And remember, Heather Spencer stated he was waiting 6 to 9 felonies for what he did, not 2. And I think that might stem from some confusion after he was first arrested back in July, as they only have 2 charges listed in the posting. But as we're going to see shortly, there's a lot more than that. During the case against Fossler on September 4th, 2024, we see the court has ordered the affidavit against him to be sealed, and they cite due to minor victim as the reason. And this was prepared by prosecuting attorney Chuck Graham. So he was the prosecuting attorney in this case too, just like Aaron's. And we see in the attachment to the order, so ordered by Judge Barbara Elmore. And remember her as we'll be seeing her again. Now let's take a deeper look into the case against Mike Fossler and get a better understanding of what's going on and how many felonies he was actually charged with. And we can see counts 1 and 2 are for internet stalking of a child. Counts 3 and 4 are both for sexual assault, 4th degree. Counts 5 and 6 are both for sexual indecency with a child. Count 7 is for computer child pornography. And then we see count 8 for pandering or possessing medium depicting sexual conduct with a child. And below that, you'll see it says the same thing under count 43. And that's because between count 8 and count 43 are 34 more counts of the exact same thing.
No.
It's a literal rolling list of the same charge from counts 8 all the way through to count 43 for 36 charges of that offense alone.
Wow. There's some sick fucks in this world, I have to say.
And by clicking on each of these charges, you can go in and learn a little bit more. And one thing we can learn from the different categories of his charges is that they were all dismissed on October 24th, 2024, as this is 2 weeks after the incident in which he would end up dead. Another thing that we can see is that for 42 of his charges, he was charged as committing those offenses on June 1st, 2024. Meanwhile, a single charge of computer child pornography is dated to June 2nd, the day after. So he was arrested on July 11th, 2024, and they determined that 42 of his charges happened on June 1st. And it looks like something to do with one or more of those charges led the police to looking into his computer and finding material that was entered into it the next day on June 2nd. And this all makes sense as the first assault on the Spencer's daughter, who was actually only 13 at the time of the attack, happened a little over a month before the Spencers found out. And I don't know exactly how they found out. Maybe their daughter told them, or perhaps they found something on her phone, and then they called the police in early July. And then the police investigate him and arrest him on July 11th and charge him with 43 counts. And apparently the Spencer's daughter is the only witness. And keep in mind that she may be the only witness, but it doesn't mean that she's the only victim. There may be other victims in the material that Fossler had, but the police just don't know who or where they are. Now fast forward to October 9th, and with a no contact order in place, Mike Fossler abducts the Spencer's daughter yet again, leading the family dog to start barking, and to the unfolding of events that followed. In the aftermath of it all, the Spencers figured that Fossler had taken their daughter to kill her. And that makes absolute sense, and I believe that's what his intent was as well.
Really?
Why else would you think he abducted her on October 9th?
Really?
I highly doubt he took her saying, hey, let's go have some fun, and then I'll see you in court in December, where you're the only witness. I very highly doubt that's the scenario. Not at all. It's far more likely he was trying to get rid of her, as she's the only witness in the case against him, where he's not only facing 2 or 9, but rather 43 felony charges. And let's have a look at his 36 counts of pandering. I had to look this up because I wasn't exactly sure what it was. So if you knowingly advertise for sale or distribution, sell, distribute, transport, ship, exhibit, display, or receive for the purpose of sale or distribution any visual or print medium depicting a child participating in or engaging in sexual explicit conduct, then you're guilty of this pandering offense. And in Mike Fossler's case, 36 times, apparently. Now, the internet stalking of a child and computer child pornography charges are pretty straightforward, as is sexual assault 4th degree. And Fossler has 2 felony counts of sexual assault 4th degree, both with the offense date of June 1st, and both being against the Spencer's then 13-year-old daughter. But now what about his 2 felony charges of sexual indecency with a child? What's that all about? And when you read into it all, the first parts make sense, of course, but that would be the same as and covered under the 2 charges of sexual assault 4th degree. And I think it might be under Section 5 of this law that most likely applies, which states, being 18 years of age or older, the person causes or coerces another person who is less than 14 years of age to expose his or her sex organs or the breast of a female.
Can I help you?
And he's facing 2 of those charges, no doubt relating to the other felonies he's been charged 2 of. And combined with the 36 counts of pandering, to me anyways, makes it look like Mike Fosler was not only just selling porno pics and videos of underage kids, but was he also creating the content? We can't know now, not only because he's dead now, but also remember, the prosecutor and the judge in this case sealed the affidavit, so we can't see the actual details of all the charges. This is part of the reason you'll see people saying that sealing cases in court actually helps the defender. It keeps the public from knowing all the facts. Anyways, on October 9th, 2024, Mike Fosler would be sent to stand trial before a different kind of a judge, one who knows all and will judge Fosler accordingly. And I can't help but wonder if his wife will be standing there waiting too, arms crossed with a stern look on her face. As Mike Fosler was a widower, with his wife having passed away exactly 50 weeks before he went and groomed and attacked the Spencer's daughter. And according to her obituary, Mike Fosler was her sweetheart of 44 years. And we can see that they relocated to Cabot, Arkansas in 1995 from Indiana due to Mike's military career. For a living, it looks like Mike Fosler owned and operated his own trucking company. And it says here he's allowed to operate and is reporting one driver and one power unit. And for those who don't know, the power unit or tractor in trucking refers to the head of a truck, i.e. the engine and driver's cab. So just the front part of the truck, not the trailer. A lot of companies already have their product in trailers and just require a truck for the transportation. And in the trucking industry, this is known as power-only trucking. And just to note, I don't know what kind of truck Mike Fosler had, but it was one that can attach to and transport trailers. And on many of those trucks, like the one pictured here, you'll see what looks like a back seat attached to it. And this is actually called the sleeper cab. And looking inside, you can see why it's called a sleeper cab. And while these are very common all over the place, they're most especially used by truckers who do long distance hauls. And if we look further down this website, we see Mike Fosler is licensed to operate interstate,
but today,
which means he's allowed to drive his truck carrying a trailer from state to state. So that's kind of disturbing to know. And we can see Mike Fosler had a Twitter account, or an X account. And notice his handle was a cop. And I saw a few posts that he made some interesting comments on, like this one.
wow.
And this one, again with the same girl. And this one, who I'm guessing it's the same girl.
What in the...
And notice the dates. He's posting these while his wife is on the losing side of her battle with cancer.
On Twitter.
And that's her sweetheart for you. And while there's nothing illegal about his flirting in this manner on Twitter, of course, what strikes me is that he's a roughly 64-year-old man at this point.
You're gonna have
but his posting sounds like he's a 25-year-old at a strip club. And while his wife of 44 years is dying of cancer,
that's my girl.
That shows his true character, in my opinion. Now, looking around at different Facebook pages and various internet message boards, I came across quite a few surprising and rather shocking things alleged about Mike Fosler. Does anyone that has lived in Hamlet remember Michael Fosler, that was chief of police years ago? Michael Fosler was a cop in Hamlet, Indiana for a few years. He was even a school resource officer.
Oh my
Folks
God.
from there have said he always had a fondness for...
He was a school resource officer in Indiana. Are you kidding me? He was chief of police. Are you kidding me? Ah. Ooh, blood pressure just went up. My blood pressure just went up. As a mom of 5 children between the ages of 26 and this makes me crazy. I only had 3 children that went to public school. These 2 don't go to public school. They go to private school. There's a reason for it. This man was a fucking school resource officer. He had 36 counts of child pornography on his computer. And they only found that after he was charged with grooming and raping and stalking this girl on the internet. Are you kidding me? And they let him out on bail? Like, I can't. I have no words. I have no words. You guys, do you see what this says right here? It says he always had a fondness for young girls. That right there. Very pervert. Pervert. Why are these people... I'm so angry right now. I can't even tell you.
Young girls. Somehow we ended up retiring to Arkansas after an investigation. And here's another similar post. Mike Foster was a cop in Hamlet, Indiana for a few years, even the school resource officer. Everyone knew he messed with girls, but everyone always looked the other way. Here's someone asking Heather Spencer, is the perpetrator really an ex-police officer? And Heather responds, yep, and an ex-service member who lost rank for inappropriate conduct with a lower enlisted. People from his hometown say he liked to target young girls when he was a cop. And then she adds, many people who have worked with this man have reached out to us to let us know he has always been a predator. I also came across another similar.
I think, Noodles, I think that I do. I expect more out of people, I guess. I still want to see the best out of people, especially people who are in these professions that are meant to protect us, and that children are supposed to feel safe to go talk to, and to make sure that they have a voice outside of just their home. And then you have people like this, and people like Farwell, and people who are just disgusting humans in these positions. And these people cannot, our children have no one to go to but our own, as their own parents, and that's it. And or people that they like, my sister, their aunt, my brother, my, they could go to my best friend Christy, they could go to Amy, things like that. But if it's something that you don't want to talk about to your parents, I do expect these people in these positions to be held to a higher standard and not have to be turned, not for people not to look the other way. I do. By looking the other way, you're just as guilty. Like, if I knew what was happening, I would be saying something. They should. I agree with you that they should. The fact that the bail bondsman should lose his bail license, his bond license. I hate that for you. I am so sorry that you went through that, Noodles. I am. I mean, I've been through my own traumas that I don't talk about. I have never really even told anybody about. So I get what you're saying. I don't understand how these people allowed this to happen by turning the other way. I expect more. I expect more from our government. I expect more for our children. I do. And maybe I'm blind, and maybe I'm naive, but it is so, and she didn't mean ducked. She meant fucked. And I'm going to say it for you. It's fucked. Ridiculous. I can't even believe that these are the people that protect us. After, I mean, like, I guess you're right, Noodles. I shouldn't be naive to the fact of it. I shouldn't. I should know that it's out there, and I should know that after watching what's happened in Massachusetts right in front of our face, and keep watching it, and to see all this crap that is happening, that I shouldn't be immune to. I shouldn't be so naive. But I feel like somebody has to step up and stop and say, this needs to stop. Somebody needs to be put somewhere else. Like, don't let them be with our children. I totally agree with Noodles. I agree that, I mean, she's right. And I feel so bad that she experienced what she experienced, and nothing will take that experience away from her. And I'm angry with this. The story angers me. So,
Posting by Heather Spencer, where she says, We have also received numerous stories of other victims that received no justice after this man attacked them. The system failed over and over to put away a predator. Everywhere this man went, he preyed on weak young girls. And maybe this next victim was one of those who contacted Heather Spencer, perhaps? She writes, "Was it Mike Fossler? I'm asking because he almost raped me too. I got away, and nobody believed me." I also see that Mike Fossler has an Instagram page. And something I find odd about this is that he somehow has 794 followers on 0 posts. With 0 posts, why and how would a 67-year-old man have 794 followers on Instagram?
Bots.
Now, considering his charges and those pandering charges we looked at, it kind of makes me wonder. And going back to the subject of internet posts again, and not that this necessarily has anything to do with Instagram, of course, but I did come across a bunch of posts of people alleging that Mike Fossler was involved in some sex trafficking ring at a woman's prison. Now, I don't know how much, if any, of this stuff is true, but the number of nefarious stories about this guy seem to be adding up to quite a few. Now, remember, Mike Fossler had a military career? Well, according to his LinkedIn page, he was a project manager at the U.S. Army with 116 connections. Seems he was more successful on Instagram. And according to a former coworker, Fossler was a POS, and he was forced out of the Arkansas National Guard a few years ago. Now, looking back to his military stuff and what he was doing, we see this from the Central Elementary School in the Cabot School District, posted on October 14th, 2019. "Thank you, retired U.S. Army Major Mike Fossler." And there he is, pictured with a bunch of kids, showing them how to fold a flag. And everything I now know about this guy only makes that picture that much more disturbing. So, overall, with what we've seen, what can we say about Mike Fossler? Well, he was a veteran, he was a widower, he was a former police chief, he had no problems openly flirting with much younger women on Twitter or X. There's lots of accusations of previous pedopredatory activity. There's lots of accusations of rape. There's accusations of being part of a female prison sex ring. And he groomed and assaulted a then 13-year-old girl in May of 2024. And he was arrested for that in July of 2024 on 43 felony counts, with his court date set for December 2024. And he had a no-contact order for that same victim. And then he went and abducted that same now 14-year-old victim in October of 2024. And I think we can summarize all of that into one compounded hyphenated word: pedopredator.
Yeah.
Now, remember earlier we saw some clips of Sidebar with Jesse Weber.
So we started by looking up the suspected shooter, Aaron Spencer, and we actually looked him up on Truthfinder. It's really easy to do.
And while watching it, I noticed something I found to be rather strange. Truthfinder is a sponsor of the show, and as such, Jesse Weber does the obligatory 1-minute promo plug for Truthfinder during the episode. So let's have a look.
No.
But we are learning more about Mr. Spencer and Mr. Fossler's backgrounds. So we started by looking up the suspected shooter, Aaron Spencer, and we actually looked him up on Truthfinder. It's really easy to do. You just
Fossler and his Truthfinder report. They just spent a minute telling us how great Truthfinder is, and even showed us them looking up Aaron Spencer's report and the results of his report, in which he's only ever gotten 1 speeding ticket. So
what about Michael Fossler?
So yeah, what about Michael Fossler? I mean, he's the one that's charged with all kinds of crimes. And yet they didn't say anything about what Truthfinder might have on Mike Fossler during the whole episode. I find that pretty weird. Maybe Truthfinder didn't have anything on Mike Fossler. So I went to the Truthfinder website to find out for myself. And it's incredible. There's 1 match found. Incredible? I wonder who decided that the results of 1 match being found needed to have an adjective word like incredible to describe the results of 1 match being found. I mean, why not use the word amazing or astonishing or stupendous? I guess it's simply incredible. But not incredible enough for Jesse Weber and Sidebar to mention it, though.
Exactly.
Anyways, I started going through the steps and found we have uncovered multiple criminal or traffic records matching the name Michael Fossler. And then they give you the warning: reports may contain graphic images. And you see warnings like this pop up every now and then as you go through the steps. Along the way, you have to sign up, which starts an account for you, in order to proceed further, which I did, and I knew what was coming, but I thought I'd play along and see how it goes. And there it is. If I want to get the information, I got to pay $28. And I was going to sign up, as I don't have a problem with paying $28 for a month's membership. But before doing so, I decided to get some more information about canceling, and I didn't like what I was seeing. It seems some people have had a very hard time canceling their subscriptions, with some saying they had to go to their bank to get it canceled, and one guy said he even had to cancel his credit card to get them to stop billing him every month. You're supposed to be able to easily cancel at any time, right from your account, and these people say they've done that, but they were still being charged every month. So unfortunately, I had to decline doing this. Now, if anyone watching does have a membership and wants to send me what's in there, please, by all means, reach out to me, and we'll get it out there. I'll even send you $28 and pay for a month's subscription for you. Anyways, I'm glad I went through those steps, because the next day I got an email from Truthfinder telling me that they noticed that I haven't accessed the report yet. And what I learned from this email is that they have 28 public records found on Mike Fossler, containing either criminal or traffic records. Doing the search, I only learned that they had multiple criminal or traffic records on him. But now I know they have a whopping 28 records on him. So granted, they could just be 28 speeding tickets. After all, he was a truck driver. But at the same time, there could be a whole bunch of criminal stuff in there too.
So what about Michael Fossler?
So indeed, what about Michael Fossler? Even if it's just traffic tickets, you took the time to tell us about Aaron's one single speeding ticket, but you don't say a word on the 28 records found on Mike Fossler and Truthfinder, your sponsor. I just find that to be pretty strange indeed.
So Spencer's arrest, as you can imagine, it has caused a lot of outrage in the local community and online.
And indeed, when the news broke about what happened and that Aaron was charged with first-degree murder, the Lonoke County Sheriff's Office was flooded with angry phone calls and emails by the thousands.
But a lot of people are outraged at what happened here. And a couple days after the shooting, the sheriff took to Facebook to kind of try to quell the growing unrest.
As your sheriff, it is our duty to conduct a thorough and factual investigation. Law enforcement does not file charges. We gather evidence and submit a case to the prosecutor, who will then decide whether or not to file charges. Currently, official charges have not been filed. I have not, nor will I, advocate for any specific charge.
Now, as of Monday night, it doesn't appear that the district attorney's office has filed official charges. This was more a preliminary murder charge, so there's not an official charge yet.
And that was just part of the statement that was issued by Lonoke County Sheriff John Staley, and would see the same kind of statements in the news articles too, including the USA Today article we looked at earlier. Now here's the full statement issued by Sheriff John Staley.
I'm your Lonoke County Sheriff John Staley. In the early hours of Tuesday, October 8th, Lonoke County deputies responded to a report of a missing juvenile. While en route, got a call of a shooting. After consultation with the prosecuting attorney, an arrest was made with a preliminary charge of first-degree murder. Arkansas state law provides guidance on when and how charges are filed in criminal cases. As this is an ongoing investigation, only limited details can be released. As your sheriff, it is our duty to conduct a thorough and factual investigation. Law enforcement does not file charges. We gather evidence and submit a case to the prosecutor, who will then decide whether or not to file charges. Currently, official charges have not been filed. I have not, nor will I, advocate for any specific charge. This is a tragic situation, and my thoughts and prayers are with all those involved. We will continue our investigation, submit the findings to the prosecutor for review.
So in the statement, I heard something that made me have to give it another listen.
Lonoke County deputies responded to a report of a missing juvenile. While en route, got a call of a shooting. After consultation with the prosecuting attorney, an arrest was made with a preliminary charge of first-degree murder.
So Aaron Spencer was charged with first-degree murder after the good sheriff consulted with the prosecuting attorney? And of course, that prosecuting attorney is Chuck Graham, the same guy who got the affidavit sealed in Mike Fossler's case of 43 felonies. So all this talk about it being a preliminary charge and it's up to the prosecutor to bring official charges is BS by the look of it. As we can see, Chuck Graham's first inclination is to charge first-degree murder right off the bat. Now, remember we looked at a bunch of the media that was covering the story? As well as a bunch of media that wasn't?
I can't.
And out of the media that was reporting on it, do you remember what some of their experts were saying?
The fact that Law and Crime didn't even look or say and didn't say anything about him, and knowing that it's 28 different reports on him and Truthfinder. I know I really like this one. This one I started watching this morning, and I was like, I stopped watching it so I could watch it with you guys because he's really gone pretty far. The fact that he's found Twitter stuff, he's found Instagram, he's found all kinds of stuff. So this guy, if you guys,
I don't see a prosecutor in a smaller town like this who knows everybody, who knows, all the players in this. I just can't imagine that this man will ultimately go to trial for any sort of homicide. And if you're looking at your daughter in the hands of a predator, again, I don't see how this guy gets charged.
someone who's been accused of a rape is in violation of a no contact order. That's what really matters. What happened in that time frame? And I don't think we see charges here.
That is a link.
That's the call that a jury, if they charge him with anything here, Chris, that will be the decision they have to make. And this is a voluntary manslaughter at its absolute most.
And clearly these experts don't know Arkansas very well, or the counties surrounding Little Rock. And remember what Chris Cuomo said.
Just quickly, help me understand this. So he wasn't really charged. That's why the sheriff backed away from it. They arrested on probable cause. Now they'll figure out they're going to dump it on the prosecutor. We'll see what happens, but I'm going to follow this one.
Well, what was that again, Chris?
We'll see what happens, but I'm going to follow this one.
Oh, okay, cool.
Of course, Amy.
Now, the news media that did cover the story began covering it in the week following the Spencer family's nightmarish ordeal. But after that, just like the CNNs and the MSNBCs and the group of media that totally ignored the story, all the other media that was covering the story suddenly joined them and went quiet about the Spencer family's plight. I did an advanced Google search setting the parameters in news for the dates between November 1st, 2024 and March 1st, 2025. And a big whopping 5 articles came up. And of course, they're all Arkansas local outlets and affiliates. With 2 articles from KATV and 1 each from the others.
The fact that I didn't.
So a large portion of the media, from all around the world even, jumped on Aaron's story immediately after it happened, with a noticeable large chunk of the media ignoring it as well. But within a couple of weeks, the entire media drops the story like a hot potato.
We'll see what happens, but I'm going to follow this one.
Now remember the experts we saw and their conclusions? Well, after Sheriff John Staley did his consulting with prosecutor Chuck Graham, resulting in a preliminary first-degree murder charge for Aaron back in October, the prosecutor began his quest to determine what, if any, the official charges would be. And I guess he realized he made a mistake with the first-degree murder charge. And in November, Aaron was officially charged with second-degree murder. And the judge in this case is Judge Barbara Elmore, the same judge who was overseeing Mike Fossler's case with the 43 felony counts, and sealed the affidavit so nobody can see any of the details. Now, of course, I'm not a lawyer or an expert or anything, but wouldn't that be a conflict of interest? Prosecutor Chuck Graham was working the Mike Fossler case as well, and now he's prosecuting Aaron Spencer.
They have a lot to say about the situation and me, but what's being put out there is not the whole story. And ethically, I can't go much further than that.
The whole story? It looks like the whole story is being suppressed. And it looks like Prosecutor Graham is really trying to stick it to Aaron Spencer, because with the second-degree murder charge, prosecuting attorney Chuck Graham is bringing the charge with an enhancement seeking a higher sentence for the use of a firearm. And we see that Aaron Spencer will have his plea arraignment before Judge Barbara Elmore on Monday at the Lone Oak County Sheriff's Department. So what does bringing the charge with an enhancement mean, you might be asking yourselves? And you'll find it under enhanced penalties for offenses committed in the presence of a child. A person who commits any of the following offenses may be subject to an enhanced sentence of an additional term of imprisonment of not less than 1 year and not greater than 10 years if the offense is committed in the presence of a child. And there we see murder in the second degree, what they charged Aaron with. And under Section D, we see the enhanced portion of the sentence is consecutive to any other sentence imposed. And under Section E, we see any person convicted under this section is not eligible for early release on parole, transfer to post-release supervision, or community correction transfer for the enhanced portion of the sentence. So what this all means is that when Aaron Spencer rescued his daughter and had to kill her abductor, Mike Fossler, in the process of rescuing her, and because Aaron had a gun, this means that not only are they charging him with second-degree murder, but because it was in the presence of a child, his daughter, they're adding the enhancement charge on top of it as well, which if convicted would add a lot more prison time for Aaron. And that prison time wouldn't even begin until he finished serving his second-degree murder sentence. Second-degree murder in Arkansas. Second-degree murder is generally either an unplanned intentional killing or a killing caused by reckless disregard for human life. And I'm pretty sure they're going after Aaron for the former. Looking further into second-degree murder in Arkansas, there are 2 ways to commit second-degree murder. Knowingly causing the death of another person while manifesting an extreme indifference to the value of human life, or causing the death of any person with the purpose of causing serious physical injury to another person.
I didn't know I was on mute. So this man, because he saved his daughter, thank you. Because he saved his daughter and she was there when this happened, and he took this guy's life by saving her. He's being charged with more enhanced punishments of second. Like, I'm so frustrated with this whole case. It's so angry. Oh my God, I'm so angry. He was right. Like, I think he was right. He did what all of us would do. These people are.
It's a Class A felony, punishable by a fine of up to $15,000 and/or imprisonment for between 6 and 30 years. Now, in second-degree murder defenses, we see what I presume Aaron's team of lawyers will be using, which is self-defense. And in doing so, the defendant must be in a place that they had a right to be in when the situation arose. The person claiming self-defense must not have provoked the slain party in any way. The person acting in self-defense must have had a reasonable fear of immediate death or bodily harm that required the use of force. So, Aaron had every right to be on a public road in a desperate search for his missing 14-year-old daughter. And clearly it was the actions of Mike Fossler abducting the Spencer's daughter that provoked the events that unfolded that night. And of course, Aaron Spencer had a reasonable fear of either death or bodily harm. Mike Fossler, being caught red-handed with the Spencer's daughter, now had absolutely nothing to lose at this point. And I have no doubt that his original intentions were to kill the Spencer's daughter, but now being confronted by her father, it's a simple matter now that he has to kill them both. The sheriff even said there was a confrontation between them, so we know Aaron Spencer didn't walk up to Mike Fossler's truck and start blasting away. Based off everything I know, I'm quite sure Aaron's first and foremost thoughts were to get his daughter out of there immediately, as any sane parent's thoughts would be. And Mike Fossler, who was former law enforcement and military as well, wasn't about to let that happen, hence the confrontation. Plus, Aaron's a professionally trained, experienced, and licensed gun owner, so he knows the dangers inherent, and I highly doubt he would further risk the safety of his daughter with a mindset of, I'm going to blow this guy away, right in front of my daughter. But that's basically what the Lonoke County sheriffs and prosecutors are saying what happened. So like I say, I'm not an expert, of course, but let's have a listen to another actual expert.
Agreed.
William Kirk, who is president of Washington Gun Law, put up a video on YouTube that has an excellent breakdown, in my opinion anyways, and I've spliced together some clips to explain. Also to note, this was posted on October 16th, so pretty much right after the first-degree murder charge was brought against Aaron Spencer.
Hello again, everyone. Welcome to Washington Gun Law TV. I am Washington Gun Law President William Kirk. Thanks for joining us. Listen, I say all the time that I love to take real-life stories that we find in the news, and use it as teachable or learning moments. And there is a disturbing case that comes from Arkansas that, candidly, I'm not certain what the prosecuting attorney or the police officers were thinking here, but we're going to go through it with you, and we're going to use it as a teachable and learning moment. So today, from Gat Guns here in East Dundee, Illinois, let's spend a few minutes and let's talk about why is this man being charged instead of getting a medal? Here's the disturbing details. Apparently, the deceased, Mr. Fossler, was accused of sexually assaulting Mr. Spencer's 14-year-old daughter. And not only was he accused of it, he was charged with multiple felonies. Now, Mr. Fossler was charged, and since he was charged, I presume that he made an appearance in court where those charges were presented to him. He was arraigned on the charges. He was forced to enter a plea. I'm assuming his attorneys entered a not guilty plea, and then conditions of release and or bail were discussed. Why? Because that's how it always works, okay? And the conditions of release included, as it always would, a criminal no contact order, which would prohibit Mr. Fossler from having any contact whatsoever with Mr. Spencer's daughter. Okay, but the story also then goes on to say that Mr. Spencer was arrested for one count of first-degree murder, which begs the question, should he have been arrested at all? And that brings us to our teachable moment here, because as we know, under most states, in most situations, you are allowed to use lethal force in one of four situations. Number one, you yourself are in imminent threat of death or serious bodily injury. Number two, somebody else in your presence is in imminent threat of death or serious bodily injury. Number three, you have a felony being committed upon your person. Or number four, you have a felony being committed inside your home. Now, here's the thing, okay? I took a look at Arkansas law, took a few notes here. A violation of a no contact order, especially this type of no contact order, when the allegations are what they were against Mr. Fossler, under Arkansas Code, Section 5-53-134, subsection B2, that is a felony. That constitutes a felony. If Mr. Fossler was violating those no contact orders, he is committing a felony, and he is committing a felony upon the young Spencer girl. And here's the other thing, because under Arkansas Code Section 5.14.127, had the age of consent for
Girl, Amy. I have a thing. I don't like Elizabeth at all. I cannot stand him. But I agree with you. I think that he would be the person, one of the best people in this case. I really don't like him. But Sharon, I'm so sad. From my understanding, he took her from the house. I believe. Yes, she was taken from the house. All right.
Or anything in the state of Arkansas is 16. And let us remember that the allegations here is that Mr. Spencer's daughter is only age 14. So what we ultimately have here is we have an underage girl who's been sexually assaulted by some 60-year-old deranged pervert who then violates multiple no contact orders, kidnaps her. It is a kidnapping. Why? Because she's not old enough to consent. So now we have another felony being committed against the person. So at this point, we have multiple felonies being committed against their person in a situation in which this person has already committed felonies against her person. Is there a reasonable belief that she is in imminent threat of death or serious bodily injury? And then let's go back to the original allegations, because under the original allegations, according to what the family is saying, the only evidence that would have ever been able to prove Mr. Fossler guilty of these crimes would have been the testimony of the young Spencer girl. Therefore, getting rid of her would have in all likelihood precluded the ability for him to be prosecuted. So is there any doubt that this young woman was in imminent threat of death or serious bodily injury at the time that her father found her? Absolutely, positively not. And for that reason, Mr. Spencer is lawfully allowed to use lethal force in defense of his daughter and does so accordingly. The fact that there was a struggle or some type of confrontation may only further justify Mr. Spencer's action. But as far as we break it down here at Washington Gun Law, we see no reason under the sun, especially in a state like Arkansas, where Mr. Spencer was not absolutely positively lawfully allowed to use lethal force.
So to me, that's an excellent breakdown. And again, remember what the other experts said.
Again, I don't see how this guy gets charged.
And I don't think we see charges here.
If they charge him with anything here, Chris, this is a voluntary manslaughter at its absolute most.
And William Kirk agrees with them as well.
I'm not certain what the prosecuting attorney or the police officers were thinking here.
So now we've heard from 4 different experts from around the country, all in agreement that Aaron Spencer should not have been charged. But unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, we're dealing in Arkansas jurisprudence, which, as we can see, is sometimes backwards. Thus answering the question posed by William Kirk. Now let's have a look around the country at some similar situations. And we can only say similar, as every situation will be unique with its own circumstances. But in Louisiana, on Friday, November 8th, 2013, a man looking for his abducted cousin kicked in the back door of an abandoned house and shot and killed her kidnapper. And 3 days later, on November 11th, the shooting was ruled justified by the sheriff. On September 13th, 2024, in Salem, Oregon, 2 police officers shot a kid.
I will say that one he just talked about, that was ruled justified by the sheriff, which was this one. So a man looking for his abducted cousin kicked in the back door of an abandoned house, shot and killed her kidnapper. That was in Louisiana, so that's different. I thought it said that he that they kicked in the door to come get the kid, but I guess he kicked. But see, right there, it shows you. I mean, Louisiana is just as backwoods, if not more backwoods, than Arkansas, and they didn't charge him. So why is Aaron Spencer being charged? Makes no sense.
Was ruled justified by the sheriff. On September 13th, 2024, in Salem, Oregon, 2 police officers shot a kidnapper dead.
Salem police say the woman's call reporting that she was being kidnapped prompted them to respond around 4:30 this morning. Officers say they found the suspect's vehicle with the woman inside and attempted to stop the man who pulled into the parking lot of the Glen Creek Park apartments. As officers approached the car, authorities say the woman rushed out. They say as a 34-year-old man got out of the vehicle, he was shot by 2 Salem police officers.
Force in situations like that is required. If you see a knife, I think that's more than necessary for the officer to be shooting.
A month later, both officers were cleared as acting in self-defense.
Because they're officers. they will, of course, say that.
On June 15th, 2010, in Albuquerque, New Mexico, a woman was kidnapped and thrown into the trunk of a car.
Shortly before, a woman called 911 from inside the trunk of that car. Her estranged husband, 42-year-old Julian Calvert, he was the driver. Now, Officer Zwicky was the first one to arrive on the scene. He approached the car. Then he noticed that there was blood near the back bumper. He then told Calvert to open the trunk. When the officer tells the other woman to get back inside, that's when Calvert lunges at him. The chief says the suspect had a folding knife in his hand. Officer Zwicky shot 4 to 5 times, hitting Calvert in the chest and head, killing him. The wife and woman in the passenger seat were kidnapped earlier that night from UNM Hospital. The wife called 911 from the trunk, and the dispatcher sent police. A grand jury has determined that the shooting was justified.
He was never officially charged. But let's watch that again just to see how fast a situation like that can unfold and play out.
Liam.
Within seconds, and Buddy ain't getting back up again. In this next example, on May 27th, 2020 in Fullerton, California, we'll first see the body cam of one officer as another officer shoots the suspect. And just a warning, we actually see the police shoot the suspect, but there's no gore or blood or anything like that, just to let you know. But sensitive viewers may want to skip the next minute or so. Now here's the body cam footage of the shooting officer. In August of 2021, after a lengthy investigation, the DA said that charges weren't warranted, and the report says that Officer Farrell acted in self-defense. Now this next one's pretty wild. On June 17, 2013, in Midwest City, Oklahoma, a child hostage situation took place in a supermarket.
Wayne, I agree with you. I do, and Shooter said it too. I do agree it's because he's being charged because he is ex-police officer. But I don't think that should matter. If this man has the 36 counts of child pornography, rape, grooming, internet stalking of this child, that negates everything he did prior. This man also has numerous, sorry guys, see him laughing. He also has numerous people coming forward and saying that they were victims of his prior that had never had anything done about it. Like this man is a sicko, and I don't care what he's done prior. He had already been charged with it. He needs to. What the hell is going to be going on? Yeah, I mean, heck, Proctor thinks he's immune to everything. He didn't show up to court the other day. He went on vacation after he had been served because it was planned for over a year. I don't give a shit how long it was planned. Show up, just like, because if I would have done it, I would have been arrested.
Which ended with an officer shooting the perpetrator dead. In the footage, we can see the man snatch the child right out of the shopping cart and begin walking away with her.
You have to wait a second. Turn that down.
And this would lead to a half-an-hour standoff with authorities trying to talk the perpetrator down, even bringing him a chair to try to relax the situation.
Okay, guys, Liam needs me, so I'm just gonna play that. That's what he said. He said that it's because it was planned for a year. Well, then do what you're supposed to do and go to the court and figure out what you have to do to fix it. Because I needed to be there. If I would have had to be there, I would have had to been there, and if not, I would have been arrested. So I gotta go help Liam. I'm gonna let this finish playing out. I'll be right back. Okay.
But the man holding a knife wasn't about to concede anything. And Midwest City Police Department Captain David Huff, trying to negotiate with the assailant, made the decision to put an end to the situation. And when all was said and done, the Oklahoma County District Attorney said the shooting on June 17th was justified and hailed Captain Huff as a hero, a designation not afforded to Aaron Spencer. I guess if Captain Huff had been one state over in Arkansas, he apparently would have been charged with second-degree murder, even though he acted rightly in the self-defense of the child. But of course he was correctly never charged and was hailed as a hero for his actions of saving the child. So we've just seen 5 examples, 4 involving kidnapping or abduction, with 3 involving police shooting and killing suspects, and another police shooting acting in self-defense, which was the shooting we saw in the body cam footage. And for anyone wondering about that one, that suspect was earlier threatening his family with a knife and a gun. And when the police arrived, they say he came out with a knife as the police dog attacked him. The dog had suffered a stab wound in the shoulder blade area, and as Officer Farrell was about to attempt to grab the dog off the suspect, while on the ground, apparently made a motion towards Officer Farrell with a knife, prompting the shooting. It's all fast and a little blurry, as you saw, but that's the official outcome of that situation. But anyways, in all those examples we looked at, each of the shootings were justified, with none of the shooters being officially charged.
That part.
So what? Is that because they were police officers? I don't believe so. And in the one case, it was a civilian rescuing his kidnapped cousin. While in the other cases all involving the police shooting the perpetrators, with 3 of the perpetrators being kidnappers, they were all justified in the shootings while acting in self-defense of either themselves or others. But in Arkansas, when Aaron Spencer rescues his daughter from a rapist and possibly, or rather probably, a murderer, instead of being hailed as a hero, Aaron Spencer gets attacked by the authorities in Arkansas right away with a first-degree murder charge, changed over a month later to a second-degree murder charge, with an enhancement charge, trying to get a longer prison sentence for Aaron Spencer. Which only begs the question, what the hell is going on within the Arkansas legal system?
They're backwards.
Well, let's take a trip through some history and have a look at how Arkansas justice works. Or doesn't.
That part. Okay. So that is what we're going to end on today, because Liam is starting to lose his mind and I need to get them bathed and in bed since I'm the only one here tonight. Can't wait till my husband comes home already. He's only been gone.
Abracadabra.
Abracadabra. Oh no. My husband Steve's only been gone for 24 hours and I'm already losing my mind. So can't wait till he comes home. And I gotta get these kids bathed. So I want to say thank you guys for joining me. We are going to finish the part 2. Thank you guys. I'm a little nervous to do it by myself, honestly, just because the kids are loud and all the stuff going on and animals everywhere, because I can't be by myself like I can normally with Amy's or when Steve's here. So I was a little nervous, but I'm glad I did it. And we will continue part 2 of and watch this second part of it, because I really like this guy. This guy really goes into detail. He's really done his homework, and he might be a little quirky, but I like the fact that he's really explaining stuff and going into who said it, who's done what, who's been where. So thanks for hanging out with me, you guys. I'm so glad you guys calm my nerves, you calm my anxiety, and I thank you guys for that, because I probably don't know if I get through the night if I didn't have you guys to hang out with. So I love you guys. I will get with Amy. We're gonna figure out another night to finish the part 2. And we'll continue the rest of Aaron Spencer. You guys, please don't forget, go and like and subscribe to Carnage on Ice. I'm going to share his link again in the comments so you have it. Glare is on in 10 minutes. Is TB not? Oh, TB's on vacation. I forgot. So that's why. So yeah, no, they will be getting baths. I will not be getting any bath until they go to bed, and that will be after I get some wine in my hands, because mommy's done. So my husband had to go last minute to Virginia to see his family. His mom had a health scare, and being that she's already had a stroke in the last few months, and then this on top of it, and they're in their late 80s and they're not getting any younger, I wanted to make sure that he was with his parents, and really got that time with them, because they're not getting any younger. And I lost my mom 2 years ago, and the last thing I want to happen is something to happen to his mom. because my husband was adopted and his parents are his parents through and through. He sees them as we know who his birth mother was. We found out who she was. We found her a month after she passed away, but he didn't want a relationship with her. He just wanted to know who she was and why. And actually she lived about 20 miles from us the whole time. So but his mom is having a rough go right now. His brother flew in from Paris. That's where my brother-in-law lives, Jonathan. He lives in Paris, and my sister-in-law lives in Virginia near them, but she was actually in Colorado. She flew home, and then she actually bought Steven's ticket, and so he got there last night, and they were asleep when he got there, and she had no idea he was coming. His mom knew, but she didn't. Or his dad knew, sorry. She didn't. So I guess at 6 o'clock this morning, she woke him up and said, "What are you doing here?" And he was like, "Well, I was sleeping, but no longer." So he's been up and gone shopping and got to do all the fun kid things with the moms that you have to do and be the dutiful son. But I've only talked to him once, and I only talked to him for like 10 minutes, and you can tell he's enjoying spending his time with his mom. So that makes me Paris, France. Yeah. Jonathan. So my husband is the oldest, Stephen, and then Pamela is his sister. They both were adopted here in Florida. And then when they moved to Virginia because my father-in-law was in the Navy. And so they moved to Virginia, and they found out that they were pregnant. They didn't think they could have babies. So they found out that they were pregnant, and so Jonathan was born. And you know, when most people say that you know, "Mom, you were adopted." You know, my kids said that to each other when they were my older ones. You were adopted when they were little. And like Caleb made up names for Connor to tell him who adopted him or whatever, or who he's adopted from and what his real parents' names were. And Steve used to say, "Mom and Dad chose us. They had to have you. They had to keep you. They didn't have a choice. Mom and Dad, they chose us personally. Like we were the chosen ones." And so, but Jonathan is actually he has dual citizenship in Paris, France. And he lives right near the Moulin Rouge, from my understanding. He lives in the red light district, but that's because the apartments are bigger and cheaper. So he makes good living there. And hold on just a second. 2 seconds, guys. The puppy got locked in the door. He makes a good living, and he actually got laid off from his job a year ago, and he's been living off of his severance package, and they just called him and hired him again for another position. So he's back at the company he was laid off from, but he ended up getting dual citizenship so that he could stay there and go back and forth, and he'll probably be a forever bachelor. He has a girlfriend right now, but he's most of the time that Steve and I have been married 13 years, and we've been together almost 15. And Jonathan has never been married, nor has he been with someone very long. It's always just been him. We. So yeah, my dad lived over in Bangkok, Thailand for a long time because my stepmom was a teacher at an American school over there, and they lived over there, and they did they went to Paris to visit, and my dad he'd never even met Stephen, but he went and met Jonathan, and Jonathan met up with them and took him around Paris and took him out to eat. So my dad and my stepmother knew my brother-in-law before I did. before my dad even met his son-in-law. But I mean, I don't know if he'll take a wife, Noodles, but I can put in a good word for the girlfriend part, or friend with benefits part, vis-a-vis, to get you there, to at least have a place to stay. I can hook you up that way. Yeah, I don't speak French, but my brother-in-law does very well. And of course, and when he's come to visit, we went to the beach for a week here at Siesta Key, and he was working on the computer, and he was having certain meetings and phone calls, and we would hear him, and I was like, wow, like, I can't believe he does that. It's just, to me, it's crazy. I can barely speak English. That's right. Most of the time English comes out of my mouth. My mouth does not English half the time. So, but all right, guys. I love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. I know it wasn't as fun as normal when it is Amy and both of us, because we tend to bounce off of each other, and our ADHD takes us whoop, boop, 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 everywhere. But I guess that's a problem when both of us have ADHD. But I think it's fun. We find it fun. And I love you guys. And I will talk to you later, because my kids are outside right now and it's dark outside. And I need to find them because they need a bath and they're going to bed. So, love you. We'll see you guys soon, okay? Bye.
How am I supposed to say that? Talk time with Amy in Boston and Kelly. Time with Amy, Boston and Kelly. Talk 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 time with Amy, Boston and Kelly. Is a member, y'all. Is a member, y'all, to the Gene Deal Show. Talk time with Amy in Boston and Kelly. Talk time with Amy, Boston and Kelly. Talk time with Amy, Boston and Kelly is a member to the Gene Deal Show. Oh, thank you for your membership. Talk time with Amy in Boston and Kelly on the Gene.